What up, world? It's your boy Chuckwick Illz, aka Charles Brown, CLBMG. I got another album review for you. This time we're gonna do your boy JOYNER LUCAS. This album is 508-507-2209. So I got a lot to say about this album. First of all, this is a very, very good album. Let's just start there. I don't usually start the reviews out saying that the albums are good, but that's what I'm gonna do this time. This is a strong album. The reason I'm saying that is because I am from the same area as JOYNER LUCAS. We pretty much run mostly in the same circles of the hip-hop heads in this area. I'm not from here, but I've been here for about 20 years. And the funny thing about it is I didn't take notice of JOYNER LUCAS until he was on the fucking BET Awards. When he did the Cypher, I didn't know nothing about him. I see the Cypher, I'm like, this nigga fucking killed this shit. I rewinded that shit, watched that shit again. Dude got busy. My wife was like, yo, I like that dude. That dude is nice. She only like nice artists though, that niggas that got fucking skills. So when he ripped that shit, I had people come over. I played him that shit. I'm like, yo, you gotta see this motherfucker right here. Come to find out, this dude's already on my Facebook friends, already been doing shit in this area for years, and I come across mad people. You know what I'm saying? So I don't always remember everybody. But once I seen this dude on the Cypher, I was like, yo, that dude is a problem. And I'm rooting for this dude. I followed him on his other pages and things like that, and I've been watching his career start to blossom, and I'm really expecting big things from JOYNER. He's out from the Worcester area. I know a lot of cats out in Worcester. I've done events out in Worcester, but you know, it's been a while. But that's neither here nor there. I want to talk about this album. So I'm doing research on this whole scenario with JOYNER, his journey. I can find stuff, but it's industry stuff. It's not, you know, I know he had the fight, he had like a blow up. I think it was with Current Civil. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think something about he paid her money for PR work and she didn't follow through, and they had like a Twitter beef. I know a couple of his videos are blowing up crazy. His fan base is getting crazy. So I don't know much about JOYNER, but I'm learning. I know he did some shows in my area. He's down with a couple promoters in my area, and that's cool. I really wish the best for this cat. And I say that because in this era, it's hard to find these kind of skills. Not in this area, in this era of hip-hop. It's not that it's hard to find it, it just doesn't get showcased like that. So when I say that these kind of skills, it reminds me, what I'm seeing his progression is of a young Canibus. His story is like a young Canibus if Canibus didn't go the route he went. So back in the day when this was like the 90s, and if anybody knows about 90s hip-hop, you know about Canibus. Can I Bus? Canibus was at one point considered to be the best up-and-coming rapper in the game of hip-hop. I actually remember reading the source, and I actually got offended. I was fucking pissed. The source, Canibus had about 3, maybe 4 strong-ass verses. He was on Lost Boys. When you first heard him, he was on Lost Boys. He had a verse on that joint. I think Redman was on there, Mr. Cheeks, Canibus, and it may have been another artist. I can't remember, but he fucking murdered that shit. He fucking came so hard on that fucking song that he shook the rap game. So Canibus had these verses. He's killing the game. If you remember, Canibus had this shit in such a chokehold that it was widely regarded that this dude was almost undefeatable in battle. If someone was to try to battle, his verses was that crazy. Again, it was like 4 straight massacre verses. No one was fucking with Canibus at the time. And what offended me was that The source, I read in the source that they had crowned this dude the next king of rap. Like legit. I was like, yo, what? How the fuck? He has no album. He didn't even have, I don't even think Canibus had a solo song. His verses was on mixtapes. He had the one track with the Lost Boys. He had a couple joints like on some Clue tapes. And these motherfuckers at the source said, this is your next king of rap. I'm like, king of rap? What the fuck are we talking about? Let's get an album first. So fast forward. Labels are bidding for Canibus. Canibus is out here, you know, just eating, doing whatever. He gets on, he gets two things popping for him. One is he gets the feature on LL Cool J's record. He gets that feature. He gets 4321. The controversy with that. Apparently, LL puts him on the track because LL likes to bring artists up from out of, you know, up and coming artists. He used to anyway. He would jump on tracks with him, feature him, and it would expand their game and expand his game. And you would not usually get a 9 times out of 10 get a dope track. So he put Canibus on the track. Apparently LL rewrote his verse after listening to Canibus' verse and kind of threw subliminals at Canibus. So once Canibus heard the subliminals, people start getting at Canibus in his camp saying, bro, you gonna let this dude talk crazy to you? So, you know, long story short, Canibus called LL. They had it back and forth. LL was telling him, chill out. We're gonna, you know, when I get back, because he was out of town, when I get back, we're gonna squash the whole thing. We're gonna do a record together. Just be easy. We can make this work. Canibus had too much pressure. The streets was talking. Magazines was talking. LL, what they were talking about was because LL rewrote his shit and was like, you don't want to borrow this mic. Because Canibus verse starts out, let me borrow that mic on your arm. LL has a tattooed mic on his arm. So LL took it as, what, you trying to snatch my mic off my arm? And now you know, because it's testosterone. So he took it as a diss. LL rewrote his verse talking about, you see this mic on my arm, you don't want to borrow it. You just want to idolize and socialize. So they throwing little subliminals. Long story short, Canibus signs a deal with Wyclef, which was a disaster in his own right. Signs a deal with Wyclef, decides he wants to make a song called Second Round Knockout, which is arguably the greatest diss record in the history of rap, because you got this guy that doesn't even have an album out, barely has a song out, and he comes out full-fledged dissing LL like LL has never been dissed before. LL has been dissed. He's been in some of the greatest battles ever. MC Shan, Kool Moe Dee, Ice-T, you name it. He's been in some slugfests. But he ain't never had a young cat this vicious and this visceral and this brash come at him with 3 verses, could have been 4, I don't even remember, and just rip him apart like this. So you had Canibus' legacy on the line with this. He's battling one of the elder statesmen of this game, and he freaking absolutely ripped LL apart. Nobody expected this kind of savagery. So LL and Canibus go back and forth. Canibus is crowned the next king of rap in the Source magazine, and he doesn't even have an album out. Signs to Wyclef of the Fugees, drops an album. God knows what Wyclef was thinking about, but he was thinking one thing, Canibus is another. Canibus releases this album. It gets critically panned. It gets, in the streets, it gets panned. It's probably 2 or 3 joints on there, tops. Like, and I know what Wyclef was trying to do, but that wasn't how he was supposed to try to do it. So the reason I liken this story of Joyner Lucas to Canibus is because Joyner Lucas is spitting just as hard as Canibus. And Joyner Lucas has the eye, not so much as Canibus did, because rap was big, rap was huge back then. But Canibus had a lot more big features and a lot more exposure than Joyner Lucas. Even though Joyner Lucas was on the B.E.T. Cypher, that's not enough to catapult you into the realm that Canibus was catapulted in. But I say that to say this, he has the same vigor as a Canibus. He is like a 2000, a new millennium Canibus. And when I hear him, I think of Canibus. And I think that this is the pinnacle where he could go right where Canibus went wrong. Canibus imploded with that album that he released with Wyclef. He could have signed to anybody. He signed to Wyclef. So when he did that, he hurt his career. It never was the same again. And Canibus was on a steady decline at that point. One of the illest writers in the game, but his career was basically for more or less over. So with that being said, we enter Joyner Lucas. This has got to be 20 years later, with the same momentum, in my opinion, as a Canibus, the same direction, the same intensity, the same fire. I think Joyner Lucas has that desire that a Canibus had when he used to rip that mic and he didn't give a shit what you thought, and he didn't give a fuck what you had to say. He was going to rip that mic and anybody that was in the same vicinity of that mic as him. And I think he proved that with this album. I am not going to go song for song with this album like I normally do. I'm going to give you the overall gist of what I feel this album is. This is a spitter. This is a hard-hitting MC who understands what this shit is about. This guy is forged from a 90s mentality, but he's rocking in a new millennium. This is if you combined Eminem with Migos and put that mentality over their beats, you would get this album. This 508, 507, 2209, which I don't know if that was a mistake to name this album that, because who's gonna remember that? Like, people just gonna say the 508 album, whatever. And I get it, he's doing what he wants to do. I think his only mistake is this album title. I don't think a phone number is a good album title. And hopefully he can overcome that issue if we can get past that. But the songs are dope. Like, this is a dope album. This guy, he picks beats and he freaks them. He jumps from a hip-hop backpack beat like Keep It 100 and then goes right into another. He flows over trap beats and he puts that 90s scale flow, that mindset of just keeping it real, them raw rhymes over a trap beat. And I'm impressed with this shit. Like, dude could have came and tried to get the money or try to be mad commercial, and he does his joints that's time, the time representative of what is happening right now. He has songs that do bang right now, but he also has songs that could impress a purist, impress a person who is looking for a more classic sound. He has both of them shits, and I'm like, he's smart. Like, this dude gets what's going on with this culture right now. Yeah, you could sound old school, for lack of a better term, but you also have to have that new flavor, and this dude is seamlessly going through both phases. To me, I think you can hear him do his Drake persona and then go right into his Raekwon persona. He jumps both, you know, seamlessly, to me, in my opinion. And I look for the producers of this. It's hard to find who produced what. All I got was Decap. I don't know if Decap produced everything or some of the shit, but I don't know, you know, any other producers, if there's any. I know he got a joint with Mystical and two other cats I really don't know. But it wasn't a lot of features on here. It wasn't a lot of, I don't even think people in this era could really flow. I only think there's a couple people could even rock with this dude lyrically. I could see Logic on here. I know they had an issue about getting back a verse or what have you, and they went at it or what have you. Him and Logic had some, I don't know if Logic responded to what was thrown at him. I know that he threw some shit at Logic. Some of this shit, niggas could figure this out another way. I don't know, but I know he went at him and they didn't get the verse or what have you. That's some shit that need to be resolved, because they would sound dope together on some shit like this. But 16 tracks deep. You can tell he's passionate, because these songs long as shit. Like, these songs averaging 4 and change. Some of them are 6 minutes. So it's like, you don't do long songs unless you passionate about this music. Like, most songs right now, they're 3 minutes and change, 2 and change. You getting 4 or 5 minute songs on here. So this dude is passionate about his craft. He loves what he's doing. And this shit has replay value to me. I'm not like thinking that this is gonna be some shit that's one and done. I'm thinking this cat is gonna be here for a while. Now, if the public gravitates to him, we still have to remain to see what's gonna happen. I think he's doing his career right. He's not forcing bullshit collabs. He's not forcing bullshit tracks. I think he is a great storyteller. I think that he's going to be in that, it's going to be a couple years. He's not going to be in that top 10 talk, top 20 talk for a while. It's going to take him at least 5-6 years of consistency. So you're going to have to keep dropping. But this guy got the potential to be in your top 5. Like I was saying in the last videos, that sooner or later, that top 10, top 20 got to rearrange. It got to start changing. You're not going to have your top 5, your top 10 be the exact same for 40 years. It's not going to be like that. Yes, it's going to have Rakim and your greats in there, but your top 20 not going to be the same. You're going to sneak a Kendrick. You're going to sneak a J. Cole. You're going to sneak this guy, if he's consistent, JOYNER LUCAS, and, you know, get some of these albums to stick. He's going to be in that conversation. This guy got classic potential. This guy got longevity potential. And we're going to see what it does. I think he can be in that elite conversation with Kendrick and J. Cole. To me, this guy already jumped over Big Sean. If you asking me, I don't think Big Sean is in this conversation. Drake definitely ain't in this conversation. Meek Mill, these guys ain't in this conversation. This guy right there, because it's his storytelling, his passion, his beat selection. This is not a dude that doesn't know what he's doing. You would think this dude just signed in September. He dropped his album in June. He's on a major label. You would think that he's still fishing around to figure out what he's going to do. This guy already dropped this shit. His videos are mad different from anything that's being done. You're not getting a rehash, or he's not trying to emulate Lil Uzi Vert or Lil Yachty. This dude is like, I'm still going to bust these rhymes on your head, but I'm going to give you a taste of what's popping right now, but I'm going to bust this shit over your head, and this is what it is. I like, this nigga got a song about his fucking dick. The whole fucking song. Like, who does that shit? You know what I'm saying? It's some crazy shit. And I think you're witnessing a guy going for that throne. You don't see guys go for the throne no more. Niggas is talking about their money. They don't give a fuck. They got the money phone to the ear. They don't give a fuck what you're talking about. This guy's going for that verbal respect, that lyrical admiration, and I see him getting it. Let's see what happens. This is the first guy out of New England in a while. I think, who was the last one I could say on a national level? Smoke. I think Smoke is the last New England guy on a, and correct me if I'm wrong, on a national level that we can say build a name, build a buzz outside of JOYNER LUCAS. So I'm gonna say this shit is an A+++. It's a strong album, a debut effort. Usually ain't this good, but I rock with this. I think he's gonna pass that Canibus curse. He's not gonna fall to the wayside like Canibus. I think we're looking at a guy who will be in that conversation. You know what I'm saying? I see him right there with a what's this guy's name? I got his name, I got his face. I can't think of this shit, but he's right there. So Atlantic Records, they're doing their thing. They signed a winner, and kudos. I think you should pick this album up. You need to listen to this JOYNER LUCAS. I know the album title's kind of fucking weird, and I didn't call the number. I didn't call Mike Jones either, so it is what it is. You know, that's what it is, man. My name is Charles Brown. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Don't like the video. It is what it is. Shout out to JOYNER LUCAS, man. Maybe I'll see you soon. And that's all I got. Peace.